Alright everyone, so this is part 2 of my new series on feminism. This part of the video I'm going to talk about why men care about body count. And obviously a woman should care too, but you need to remember this. It is extremely easy for any woman to sleep around. Right? And you have to understand, you just look at a body count of an average 22-year-old guy out there versus average body count of an average 22-year-old woman. It is not possible for a woman to be incel. You have to understand that. I've seen women that's 250, 300 pounds. They can log onto Tinder at 1:30 p.m. On Monday afternoon. By 1:45 p.m., some guy's showing up the door and they're having sex. It's not possible for a guy. Yes, sometimes you'll be alone, ladies, but you have to understand you will never, ever be an average single guy alone. I'm talking about sometimes maybe you don't want to get intimate with somebody. You just want to meet a guy and have him to buy you chocolates, buy you flowers, go to the movies or go to a nice restaurant and go to the park, just to have someone to talk to, just to have companionship. In 31 years, I've never even held a girl's hand. That's the reality. When a guy is alone, he's alone. And I really hope that you guys will respect that and you guys need to have a understanding for men. And many men are struggling. And for people saying that, oh, why don't you just go or hit the gym and just get fit? By the way, I'm a varsity athlete. I used to be morbidly obese until I started running. And I have logged in over 24,000 kilometers, or that's 15,000 miles in training runs. I qualified for my first world marathon majors, which I'm going in less than 2 weeks. I've completed 5 full marathons and 20 half marathons. And even as a varsity athlete, nothing has changed. Modern women, I'm telling you, they're being indoctrinated in our society to hate men. And I'll talk more on that. But here's why your body count matters. Especially for a woman. It matters for both sexes. But here's the thing. Being intimate, it's almost purely physical. Some women, you might think, oh, your cookie is special. But for men, it's almost all the same. The only time, it might be special if it's, if a guy is gonna have sex maybe with some 18-year-old, 19-year-old virgin, then he might have, he's got some special power. For the ladies saying that the body count doesn't matter, then let me ask you this. How come almost all the women out there are lying about their body counts? Either they won't say it, or they just completely choose to deflate their number. Did you know that worldwide it's estimated that between 50 to 70% of men are virgins into their 30s? Did you know that? All the women, by the way, according to the most recent surveys, 90% of women are still sexually active between the ages of 18 to 30, 90%. The number is 66% for men. But out of that 66%, right, how many of them, by the way, this is if you had sex at least once in the past 12 months. So how many of those guys, maybe they've had sex maybe 3 or 4 times in total, right? Just a casual bar hookup in the last 12 months. How many of that is from going to the strip club, right? Or going to the red light district. Maybe they went to Amsterdam, maybe they went to Thailand. How much is that from actual, marriage or relationships? And so ladies, what happens is this hookup culture, people getting into situationships. For example, someone like me, I would never get into a situationship. It's disaster for the youths out there who are getting into this kind of, very few people want to commit anymore. So what happens is as you enter these casual hookups, one-time hookups, and you never talk to the guy again, and you just go to the bar and get drunk at maybe then 3 a.m. on a Saturday night, and you're just sleeping at some random guy's house. So what happens is you're so used to not being committing to anyone. You're so used to meeting low-value men and low-value women. And by the time you run into a high-value man, a high-value woman that wants to commit, you just kind of freeze. You're kind of stuck in limbo. You're like, oh, this is so this is how life is supposed to go. But instead, you have ruined it. And remember, I've talked in previous videos on Chinese history, and I'm sure this is true almost throughout the entire world, right? And it was mandatory for a woman to be a virgin on her wedding day. The only exception was that obviously if she was widowed. And this is why I believe relationships are so weak nowadays, because everybody is expendable. Especially for women, it is so easy for you to find a match. I mentioned this before. If you look at the Tinder rate, by the way, over 50% of relationships, they start online now. And do you know what's the rate of women that swipes right on men? 4.5%. Do you know what's the percentage of men that swipes right on women? 62%. And out of those 4 to 5%, what happens is, sometimes a woman, they might swipe right on 5 guys in total, and they'll start seeing all 5 of them at the same time. They'll go on first date, they'll talk and message to them. And all of those 5 guys, maybe they'll choose one. So almost every woman out there is looking for a top 1% guy. And you might say, oh, that's ridiculous. I want you to really think about this. And for all the women saying, oh, I don't have a high standard, all I want is a man that makes 100,000, right? By the way, in Canada, the average wage of everybody is around 55,000, and that's before taxes, obviously. In the US, it's somewhere in the low 40,000s. You're looking at between $43,000 to $45,000. So let's say, when you say 100 grand, boom, probably I would say 80% of the guys are gone. And when you say 6 feet, the average height, remember this, the average height for a male in Canada and the US is around 5'9.5". So when you say 6 feet in the US, that's 14.5% of the male population. In Canada, it's about 16%. So you want the guy to be nice, you want the guy to be charming, you want the guy to to be close to his family, you want the guy to be athletic, right, and have a good jawline. Everything, all those factors, you keep factoring all of those in. I think then you'll realize that a very, very small percentage of men it's sleeping around with all the women. You have to understand that, and this is very disastrous. And I met some of these men who are in the top 1 or 2% guys, and they don't give a shit about moving. They talk to women like shit, and they don't care about committing. They say, oh, they're so easy, they're just throwing themselves at me. And this is true. I have seen the social media, some of these guys have shown me. They say, oh, look, this is just my Tinder, which just hits every single day. I have 10, 20, 30 matches. I just go and I F them, and I just leave, just pump and dump. I don't care. And I'm used to dating 3 or 4 women at the same time. And this is because you're expandable. Way back in thousands of years ago, even this is very recent, up until 100 years ago, even like I said, my grandmother, she died with a body count of 1, and she married my grandfather back when she was 18. She was a virgin on wedding day, and it was taught. I want you to remember this phrase is extremely important. I have to keep bringing it back, and nobody talks about this in schools and societies. This hookup culture is being glorified, but back in until probably the 70s and 80s in China, it was always told that there's a Chinese idiom called 从一而终, from one until the end. But if you're looking for a more better translation in putting things into context, so the actual translation would be remaining faithful until death. And I want you to think about this. Okay, let's put it into an analogy. Ladies, I want you to think about this. Let's say if you're going to the shopping mall, and let's say some rich billionaire give you his credit card, and he said this. You can buy any handbag. You can purchase any handbag anywhere in the world. If you want, you can fly to Switzerland. You can fly to Monaco, or anything you like. You can go to China. You can go to Japan. Do you think you will be happy with whatever handbag you're going to end up with? Probably not. This is the issue when you have so many options, because all of these handbags, you just become expandable. It doesn't matter which one you choose. It doesn't matter how much you spend, because you're always going to think that, oh, I probably missed out on a really, really good one, right? And it doesn't matter to you because a billionaire is giving his credit card. It doesn't matter if you bought $1 million handbag from Gucci at a most expensive shopping mall in Monaco. You're just gonna say, whatever, I'm gonna throw it away. I'll just buy another one. And you might think that's ridiculous, but it's very much related. Now I want you to think about, what if you were told that you have to 从一而终. You have to remain faithful until death. You were given just one handbag for the rest of your life. And you were told by your parents, by society, by the media, everybody, by the government, that everybody only gets one. This is your only shot. This is your only shot to start a family. This is your shot to happiness for the rest of your life. What do you think is going to happen? You will hang on to that bag for your dear life. You will cherish it. You will do everything you can to make your marriage a success. You will do everything you can to make sure that no matter what happens, you will protect this bag at all costs. I said that back in the day, people would die for each other. People would, there's another quote, Chinese idiom. It's called 上刀山下火海. It's called climbing mountains with knives. And they would swim in a sea of fire. And this is not just a man. A man would die for his woman, and a woman will also die for his man, because you were told that you only have each other for the rest of your lives. And this is extremely important. I want you to really think about this. And your past absolutely matters. And well, if you say it doesn't matter, right? Let me ask you this. This is the same for both man and woman. Would you, let's say someone's already out of the industry, for any guy or girl out there, would you consider marrying someone and starting a family with someone that used to be a stripper or a porn star or used to do OnlyFans? Your social media footprint, it's gonna stay with you for the rest of your lives. You have to really think about this. If you choose to become a porn star, sure, you can make a million, 5, 10, 20, 30 million. But to remember this, you're going to buy 50, 60, maybe even 70 or 80 years of loneliness. You will end up alone. You will never find a man. You'll find a man that will have sex with you, but they will always put you in the sex zone. They will never, ever commit to you. I want you to really think about this. Your body count, your past matters. And this is for both men and women. But like I said, it is extremely hard for an average guy to get laid. And you have to remember, guys lie about their body count too. They inflate it. If a guy says his body count is 10, it's probably somewhere between 3 to 5. If a guy says his body count is between 1 to 3, it's a high possibility he's still a virgin, right? And you have to be able to come into terms, and you have to be able to come to peace with it. Stop letting guys take advantage of you. To all the young women out there. They come and go.